coming to you from the Southeast Florida chapter. I live in Miami, actually. I am the National Passion Fundraising Leadership Council Chair. Thank you all again for joining us. I'm excited and thrilled to bring us together again. Our first workshop, which was last June, was very well received, and the Passion Fundraising Toolkit that's online seems to have been a wonderful guide for our volunteer base. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to check it out at passion.cff.org. I know Jamie's going to be posting a link in the chat for that shortly. A little bit about me, although I now have many connections to CF, having been involved with the foundation since 2010. My direct connection is as a godfather to 13-year-old Delaney Binker, who is living with cystic fibrosis. As chair of Miami Great Strides for 9 years, I realized early on that in order for our overall walk to grow its fundraising totals, we'd have to reach out through different avenues like passion events. I've been passion fundraising since 2013, with many events over the years, including our signature Kick CF Celebrity Kickball Tournament that celebrated its 10th anniversary last spring. I am passionate, pun intended, about passion fundraising, and as the Passion Fundraising Leadership Council Committee Chair, it's important to me that we as a committee and the foundation as a whole offer as much support as possible to all volunteers and families to create passion fundraisers. I see it as a major fundraising mechanism to move the CF Foundation into the future. As a leadership council, we get to see many cool events and activities that you all are doing in your local communities. These events that supporters are hosting never cease to amaze me. We've seen everything from tournaments, including wrestling, softball, volleyball, cornhole, pickleball, and of course, kickball. You name it. And other activities like cookie decorating classes, scrapbooking, themed events, trivia nights, and comedy shows, just to name a few. This year to date, the CF Foundation has raised over $1.5 million, and we've had 146 events that have been hosted on the CF Foundation platform. And as we know, many more events are happening in your local communities that don't use the Passion Fundraising website. So this is definitely an incredible opportunity to raise money. If you're joining us because you're thinking about planning a passion fundraising event, we hope today's session give you some valuable tips to help get you started. If you're looking for some ideas, the Passion Fundraising Toolkit that I mentioned has quite a few ideas and templates. Or if you're looking to grow your existing event, we hope that tonight we can share some information that can help. Myself, the panelists here today, and all of our Leadership Council members are here to support you. So please, if you hear something today from one of our panelists and would like to connect individually, we'd be more than happy to continue to connect after today's call. We encourage you to utilize the Q&A and chat feature. Please keep an eye on the chat for direct access to resources we'll be sharing during the call. Jamie Roney is monitoring our chat. Let's jump right into hearing from our panelists. Two exceptional members from our community who both plan passion fundraising events. I'm pleased to introduce Sara Shiveler from the South Carolina chapter and Susie Ryder from the Iowa chapter. Sara lives just outside Charleston, South Carolina with her husband and 3 kids. Her oldest is 12 and has CF. She serves on the South Carolina CFF chapter board and the Leadership Council. She'll be hosting her 10th annual Mom Prom Passion Fundraising event in January. Here's a fun fact. She laughs at the fact that she is now a homeschooling mom rocking that minivan life, something she swore she would never do. Susie is one of Des Moines' top fundraisers for the CF Foundation. In fact, the Andrea's Angels team has been the #1 fundraising team 4 years in a row for the entire state. As a mother of a CF fighter, Susie has dedicated her time and talents in the 21 years since Andrea was diagnosed and has raised over $500,000 for the CF Foundation. Susie has seen much success through several passion fundraising events that she plans in her local community. Most recently, her Running with Straws 5K event where she raised over $20,000. Way to go, Susie. Welcome, Susie and Sara. We're excited to have you here to share your expertise and the lessons you've learned and all the details that go into planning your successful events. So let's get the ball rolling here and start. So committees are an integral part of events. How do you build a committee? How formal is your committee? What roles do your committee members oversee for your event? Let's start with Sara.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for being here. So my committee has grown slowly over the years as I've done my event. But if I were starting over and building a committee now, I would ask myself two questions. What do I need help with, and who do I know that can help me with those things? So I would probably ask myself, what am I good at, and what am I naturally inclined to do, and where do I have gaps that somebody else could help me utilize my time and be smarter with my time? So do I need help with marketing? Who do I know that might be strong in that? Do I need help with graphic design? Sometimes it might take me a half hour to create a graphic that a friend might be able to create in 2 minutes because they're skilled in that. Do I need help with sponsorships? Who do I know that has a lot of business connections? Things like that. So just asking yourself those two questions can kind of help you pinpoint where you need help, where you have gaps, who might be able to help you with that, who has an eye for decoration, who could help me kind of day of coordinate, make sure things go well. And I'd also ask myself who is committed to this cause, and who would be on board to really help, not just, be there because they want to come to your event for free. Who's really on board. And if you've already hosted your event in the past, who has come and is naturally sharing about your event anyways? Those are probably people that might be good to ask, hey, do you want to step it up a level and help with my committee? For us, formality wise, we meet a few times, maybe once a month leading up to the event. There's always snacks and wine provided at those. We try to make it fun and light. And then I always make sure that I recognize my committee members both at the event and on social media. These are people for me that have no direct connection to CF. So I make sure that they know that I truly value their time and what they're doing to help.
All right, awesome. Food's always important when you're trying to get people to do stuff for you. All right, Susie, how about you? Tell us about your committee structure.
Sure. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to share a little bit of how Running with Straws has been coming along. It was our 5th year having it. And I actually had the idea years ago, but never moved forward with it because I knew I needed a committee. I couldn't do this by myself. And so how did that start? I just asked. I asked family and close friends. And when 2 people jumped on board, we went for it. I think it depends on what type of event you're running. Obviously, Sarah's, I think, takes a lot more details, and we're able to do it with a 3-person committee, and it has worked well as long as we know we have enough volunteers the day of. And the importance of a committee, though, is primarily for spreading the word. So you really, if you can grow your committee even more, the better. Just like Sara says, trying to find the ideal people to be part of that, what strengths people have, and you move forward with that. The formality of our meeting is very informal. We try and keep our meetings short, no more than an hour. So everybody just brings their glass of water or their bottle of water. No food or drinks in ours because we kind of just get at it and move forward, but that works for us. So just, take advantage of how you think your committee is gonna run. Running with Straws is a small grassroots run event, so staying informal has worked really well for us. And as far as the roles that we each take, mine is primarily in marketing because I am a graphic designer, so that helps a lot because I'm very comfortable with creating the visuals for our event and marketing them and pushing and giving that to our committee members to use then on their sites as well. And we print posters and put those up around town. That the committee is members are really important for that. And something to keep in mind is to create a budget because it does take money, especially in the forefront. And I knew that was going to be our case. And so I had a budget in mind of what I was willing to spend. And I'm able to keep it in that. And then we get our sponsorships added to that helps move our event going forward. And the other role that our committee members take is we do prize giveaways at our event. And so that's really pushed like about 6 months before the event kicks off. And we just go around town asking businesses for prize giveaways and or sponsorships and move forward with that.
Oh, great. Well, you led me to my next topic, sponsorships and the businesses that support you. So how do you approach a new business or group to support you? What are the incentives that you offer to them? Since Susie, you brought it up, let's keep running with you.
Yes. So I start with a formal letter that I actually mail to them and or email. I have been able to take advantage of utilizing what our Iowa chapter uses. And so that kind of helped me at least draft the initial letter. I always have people proofread everything that I send out, including my emails. So just FYI on that, I think that's a really good tip. Our passion fundraising toolkit also gives us great tips for that. So don't forget to use that. And then after I mail out the letter, I reach out to them via email if that's not the way I did it beforehand. And then the key, though, to reaching out to them is to inform them well enough, but not over-inform them. So my letter is one letter, front page only. I don't do more than that. I can always add more when I do meet with them. As far as incentives for us, we do social media and email shout outs. I do run a MailChimp account to do email blasts. So that's something that I have taken on and learned this year. I take the time to really brag about each sponsor and or vendor or person that's doing and giving more to our event. And then for our sponsorships, we put their logo on the back of our shirts, because we do have t-shirts that we print out for our 5K. And then I have signs on the walk path acknowledging also that, and then a large poster of every business that has given to us in logo form. Yeah, let's see. I'm missing one more thing. Monetary donations is huge for us, so we take advantage of really pushing that because we're able to get our cash donations doubled. So we have someone that's able to match for us. So we've been very fortunate to be able to get sponsors to give us the donations in cash form and then get that doubled. And that has been vital to our fundraising efforts.
Okay. How about you, Sarah?
Yeah, like Susie said, my chapter kind of helped me first create my sponsorship packet. Again, we've kind of grown over the years, so I didn't start my first year. I had no sponsors. That's been something that I've built on and added to as I went. And like I said, previously reaching out to friends who I know, who know business owners, who've helped me get some of those. Other than that, just think of businesses that you frequent anyways, and your committee maybe frequents anyways, and they can ask in person and have a packet in hand when they go. And other than that, I also email just time-wise, sometimes that's easier. And I kind of target businesses that go with my event. So because it's Mom Prom, I'm looking for businesses who cater to women, families, children. Specifically, that's kind of where I focus most of my time because I feel like we have the same target market. So emails and follow-up, the fortune is in the follow-up. So, email once, make it personal. I have a letter from myself in my sponsorship packet. So I'm telling them my story. I'm sharing about my son and why I do this event. And then follow up, because sometimes people just need to be nudged a few times, oh yeah, I wanted to get back to that. But you just got to follow up. So as far as incentives, we, because of how my event is, we've added a VIP reception. So those sponsors kind of have their own little cocktail hour. That's, kind of a perk for them to be able to come an hour early, and we have an open bar during that. And it's also for me because that hour is really my time to mingle with the sponsors and make sure I personally thank them before the full-on event comes and gets crazier. So we have that VIP reception, and then we have signage at the event, and I try to do social media shout outs, tagging their businesses. A lot of times that's twofold because I'm giving them a shout out and sharing their information, and a lot of times they will reshare that. So my event is getting posted and shared, and the cause is getting shared to more people and more businesses. I also recently have started using Instagram just to reach out to businesses and say, hey, would you be interested if I sent you some information on sponsoring this event? I think you'd be great because blah, blah, blah. And I've gotten a few businesses that way, just that I probably wouldn't have had the time to otherwise. And as far as in-kind donations versus monetary, money is always my preference, but events can't really happen without some of the in-kind donations. Like Susie said, sometimes prizes, we do an auction. So Really both, but I focus a lot of my time, especially in the beginning, on sponsorships because the money that I can use goes a little further. And then my committee really helps with auction prizes and door prizes and things like that afterwards.
Okay. All right. Last question, but certainly not least. We know the promotion of events and getting your local community excited are both important elements to your event. What can you share with us today regarding your event promotion? How do you promote your event? What platforms give you the best return or engagement with people? Sara, you were talking about that a little bit, so why don't you just keep it going?
Yeah, so I now have a Facebook and Instagram page for my event. So I use both of those pretty heavily, I would say, just the few months leading up to my event and then afterwards as well to continue pushing the thank yous for my sponsors and the people that came. So yeah, Facebook and Instagram both, I would say, are big ones for me. I don't use TikTok or any of those other ones, so I can't speak to those. But Facebook and Instagram really have helped me. I do create a Facebook event. That way people can, click that they're interested and they'll get any updates that are coming from me as the event rolls around as far as ticket information, stuff like that. I also will do like a Fighter Friday post and share different CF adults and kiddos in our specific area, just so people have a little bit more personal connection to the event that way. I also try to reach out to local media, whether it's bloggers that a lot of people follow or smaller newsprint things. A lot of times people will let you post for free that an event's coming up, but I also try to reach out to local media and just try to make it interesting because they get a lot of that stuff where we're at in Charleston. There's events all the time. So I try to make it interesting, like maybe do it during CF Awareness Month and try to plug that in, or 65 Roses Day, something that you can kind of put a twist on why you're doing what you're doing and make it so it catches somebody's eye.
Okay. Now, Susie, I know that you do a lot of promoting for your event. You're great at posting. And I also know that you, because I've seen the clips, get on your local news. So why don't you share some of that with us?
Sure. I just want to tell everybody I'm taking notes too. I love that Friday fighter posts. That's awesome. I love things that rhyme or match. So I'm going to steal that, Sara. So I do a lot of the same as Sara does. I create an event page as well on Facebook. Facebook and Instagram are my number one key social media platforms. I mentioned earlier that I also now have a MailChimp account. Emailing still is vital, and using a platform like MailChimp has just changed the game because my emails now look more professional. It has links that they can click quickly and a button that they can go to for the registration. So that's also very important. We've been lucky to be able to get onto one of our local channels, Channel 5. They give me a nice noon segment for me to promote and kick off our event about 2 weeks prior. So I try and get it about 4 weeks if I can, just because our t-shirts are limited at a certain time that you can register for shirts, but that's beside the point. Promoting it through also putting posters around town. We reach out to running clubs and then they promote for us as well. So we get, a double bang for our buck that way. And on the event page, I make sure that I add my committee as administrative members to it. So then they can start inviting all their friends and they can then also promote on the event page. And so just everything gets doubled and doubled and double quadrupled and just keeps going from there. A trick also that I've been doing on event pages that I just learned this year is tagging everyone by doing the @everyone, and that makes sure that they see it in their notifications. So you have to kind of play around with the algorithms of social media. It seems to work. We had our largest attendance this year, and we hope to keep that growing. And I'm trying to think what else. So, I don't have a personal account for Running with Straws, but I have my account and I do have an Andrews Angels Facebook page. And so I utilize that as well. And I'm game to learning TikTok because everybody keeps telling me I need to do that. It always seems like it's one more thing, but I think I give it a little bit, I get more nervous than I need to be. It's really not that hard and it can be just a quick post. So the key I think is finding how to balance it out because you don't want to overpost, but you have to post. And so if you can do things like this Friday Fighter posts that tugs at people's hearts, that really works. Andrea's getting married in a couple of years. I did a post using one of her proposal pictures. That brought me in $750 for last minute donations that I needed. So it's just trying to get savvy with that. And I just learn every year and I'm happy to share it with you guys right now.
Great. Thank you, Sarah and Susie, for sharing your insights and thoughts about your passion fundraising events on behalf of the foundation. We can't thank you enough for all you do and continue to do in our fight to cure CF. All right, well, I'd like to welcome the rest of our committee who are going to be facilitators for our breakouts. Their leadership council members, Dana Giddish, Julie Reedy, Jamie Roney, who's been doing the chat, and of course, Sara and Susie. So we're going to divide into breakout rooms so we can have, a little bit smaller discussion, about event ideas and passion fundraising events. Hopefully, everybody will get excited and get some, have some great notes. I know Susie's been taking them and she's presenting, so I can only imagine what we're going to hear in these rooms. I encourage you when you get in the rooms to turn on your camera, get the most out of your time brainstorming and chatting together. It's always nice to see people. So the system's going to automatically assign us to breakout rooms. So hang tight while the technology does its magic. And I'll see everybody back here in about 20 minutes. All right.